Hi guys, we are back for part two with the Mindful Nanny Collective, AlexaRaye. We got cut off because Instagram only gives you an hour. So welcome back. If you're watching this on the replay, please comment. Let us know what you thought of part two. Part one and also part two. Um, Alexa, you're gonna request in for me, lovely, so I can get you up. Hi, Nanny Miss Monique. Thank you guys for coming. I didn't get a chance to read your comments, so on what I said. So thank you. I saw briefly some people had commented, so thank you so much for all your kind words. Alexa, back in. Just waiting. You see that awkwardness. Oh, you're back. Great. So thank you. Welcome back to part two, guys. So you were saying about your obviously your relationship with your therapy, and you was asking questions and it would down. I love the way you said you download it, and then also when you said you were swamping and you like therapy was helping you like knock all these people off. Like, let's just delve a bit more into that.
Yeah. So it's a mindfulness meeting therapy and really doing that inner work and connecting with yourself and being real with yourself and authentic enough to know that we all share this concept that we all have a background. We all have a story.
Mhm.
We all have
Mhm.
something that we are responsible for checking in, unpackaging, re-raveling, and understanding what our beliefs are. That's just
Mhm.
we got to do it. We have to do this work for the
Mhm.
next generation because as community members, we are all responsible for the next generation to thrive and to go forward and to really understand who they are. And unless we do our
Mhm.
work, unless we embody it, unless we model that behavior and really,
Mhm.
obviously, like I'm a huge believer, if you don't experience something, you can't speak to it. Um,
Yeah.
and if
Yeah.
you don't, and so I
Yeah.
love that your vulnerability of sharing what you've been through, Shada. It's so beautiful, and we
Thank
have to.
you.
So that's kind of that's overall that's what it was, is this
Mhm.
unpackaging, unraveling, and checking in with myself and saying I deserve to give my community and my children and my future legacy something else to live for, to thrive for, and to do something differently than my past legacies. um,
Yeah.
Hey, Angela. So thanks so
Hi,
much for everybody
Angela.
else that's joining back in. It's so nice to see your
Mhm.
guys' faces again. And if you
Yeah.
have any
Thank you so
comments
much
from
for coming
before,
back. Yeah,
yeah,
because obviously there was lots. So obviously, where I share that, a lot of people have wrote really nice comments, but I didn't get a chance to read them. So sorry, guys. So feel free to DM me if you want to talk about what we just mentioned. But yeah. So my thing is, how can I explain it? Like, because a lot of nannies are people pleasers. First of all,
mm-hmm.
um, and I think subconsciously you become a people pleaser as a nanny because when you first get a nanny job, you want to prove and show to your nanny family that you're the right nanny. You know, they're paying quite a lot for you, first of
Yes.
all. So then you have that kind of burden like, oh, I need to deliver now because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not getting paid like the average salary of, the average person. And because they're going a bit overboard and beyond in terms of salary, you then feel like you have to overcompensate. But then in in by doing that, you then kind of not have boundaries and then you get taken advantage of. And so when issues actually arise later on in your job,
Mm-hmm.
then it's harder for you to kind of rein in the respect, or there's been a lack of respect, and then you're
Mm-hmm.
trying to put things into place and they're like, we've always taken the mic. Why are you speaking up now? That then
Yeah.
becomes an issue. So in where you've been working on mindfulness and also the fact that you've even through your own personal life you've dealt with difficult relationships and situations. What kind of advice would you give to nannies that kind of are people pleasers and they're not very aware of being mindful and setting boundaries, or they're scared to, they don't know how to?
Yeah. And I'm a recovering people pleaser and it still comes up sometimes. And I'll speak to it when it does. Because it's this like
Mm-hmm.
we all carry these voices and our emotions, like in the last video I was talking about in part one. Like we've got these
Mm-hmm.
emotions that we all carry. That's the one thing that we have in common. And through those
Mm-hmm.
emotions they come up, but they're rooted into something else as a child. They're
Mm-hmm.
rooted into this. And of course the root of that is here and now, and the idea that we want to impress. Of course we want to impress, we want to do our best, we want to show what we have, we want to make sure that the families know our value and know our worth and know what we bring to the table. But kind of set
Mm-hmm.
that to the side for a moment and recognize, just on your own without having to show off to anybody else, recognize who you are. sit in your own power, be with yourself, love yourself. And once you begin to love yourself and you take the time, you create and carve the time to do that. And for everybody, it's a different thing. For me, it's dancing. I turn on the music and I just let it all go. It's yoga, it's mindfulness, it's coloring and drawing and being silly and just playing music and cooking. Like there's so much there that where I can choose to date myself in a sense. I can choose to love myself. And once you start filling that bucket, you don't have to look to the rest of the world to do that. And you can live more authentically. You can live taller with a broader voice, and you can be your whole self for you, you know, and that just permeates. That energy is just like, people can feel it. People will come up to me, strangers. And I think with you too, like today, that stranger was like, just gravitating towards you, right?
God.
Which is an interesting story, right? And that happens to me too. And I'm like, how interesting. But then I start to learn my boundaries around that space. And I don't need this verification. Parents will just see it because I own myself, because I'm here. And and when these boundaries are crossed, sometimes we don't know what to say in the moment, and that's okay. But we can breathe in through that space and promise ourselves that we're going to revisit that conversation. And maybe we even speak to that and say, hey, something came up this week that I really didn't quite sit well with me, and I want to revisit it so that it doesn't grow, because I think you deserve that and I deserve that, and mostly the kids that we are all caring for as a team deserve this opportunity to make sure that all of the adults are in their whole selves. I can't be my whole self right now, but I want to visit with you this, maybe on Friday. Could we carve out some space and some time to have a conversation? Because I want to do better, and I heard you say this and I felt this way. Or maybe you don't open up that emotional conversation right now because it's in between going out the door and dinner's getting made and the parents are just, they just walked in the door. It's not the time. But if they know in their mind that, oh, we're going to have this conversation, you're not springing this conversation on them. They're going to be more receptive to listening to you. And then it's just a matter of, without like trying to take as much emotion out as possible, and saying, and taking as much of the you word out as much as possible, allows somebody else to feel receptive to what you have to say. And John Gottman is a really great resource on having conflict resolution. I highly suggest following his Instagram page. They're constantly putting some really good resources there.
Write it down for the people in the comments if you can. Type it in the comments for the people that would want to follow that. And definitely, because I definitely work with a lot of my mentee nannies on conflict resolution, like, oh, this is happening at work, how do I deal with it, and things like that. And I think I've learned how to deal with it through on the job. I think I've learned on the job how to deal with it, and then look back and thought, oh, I could have handled that a bit better, or you know what, I really handled that really good. Or I think what I tend, especially in the earlier nanny stages of my career, I used to not say anything, first of all, because I can be very cheeky. I know myself, like I'm very feisty. So I'm thinking, I'm just going to give her another chance. And what tends to happen is I built up. Every time the parent I felt was disrespectful or overstepping the mark, I didn't address it at the time. So what's happened is it's just built up and built up and built up and built up. And then there's one time it's just been that's it, like enough is enough. Where I think that, explosion. And I think that's not the best way to deal with things. So this is why I wish I had someone like me when I was younger, like a mentor, or, you know, someone like a coach that could say, well, this is the best way to deal with it. Or, not giving generic advice, but just listening to the nanny and finding the best way for her to deal with it in her way, but that is effective to her situation, her work situation. And like I said, every nanny is different. And I think communication, it always boils down to communication and the way that you communicate it as well. And your language, the language that you use. Because there's definitely a professional way of being assertive. And I think once you master that, then, you're on the right path.
Yeah.
I think we got a comment from
that was really
Angela.
beautiful feedback.
Thank you. But I think one for you, actually. Hold on, let me see. Ask the Nanny said, yes, I used to be a people pleaser. When I turned 41, I found myself and learned to love myself, and things changed. I still give a lot of myself, but I learned to set boundaries and care for myself. Wow. But that's at 41. Imagine how many experiences you would have had prior. But the fact that you've noticed it and now you've reined it in, and like Alexa said, you're more mindful of it. That's a good thing. I would be that nanny. Kalisha said, I'm still a people pleaser at 37. Yes, you are. That's my sister. I constantly go on at her about this people pleaser and valuing your worth through other people. Like, Lala, let them know I tell you every single day. Stop that.
I love
We even
that.
had a conversation this morning about it. I love how you're so
Sisters.
spiritual and calm. My sister said she loves how you're so spiritual and
Oh,
calm.
thank you.
She's the sweetest. I told you, you're so soothing. You're like an angel on earth. After Nanny said passive aggressive behavior, that was me for so long. I just tuned in. Sorry, lost track of time. That's fine. And Nanny Kim on the Go said, yes, at the park yesterday, spoke to some nannies and they were floored that I told my boss that if she ever feels like I'm not the right nanny, let me know and so she can find the right one for her.
Oh,
Yeah, be okay to walk
yeah.
away from a position if it don't suit you.
Yes.
And if you know that you're not the best nanny for that family, you're doing them a disservice.
Yes.
You're doing them a disservice. You're doing those children a disservice as well. So speak up on it. You know, sometimes, and nannies is hard because we go into positions and we don't know it's for us until we actually are in it. So it's not like any other job where you just get the job spec and you get the pay and you get everything and you know, okay, this is what it's going to be like when I walk in. With nannying, you do get all that, but then you walk in and it could be a completely different job to the one that you've signed up for. So then you have to readapt and then you're like, you know what, I've tried for 3 weeks or I've tried for 6 weeks, I've tried for 3 months, it's just not working. I've tried. So yeah, I say this, man, do not be afraid to walk away from a position in the most professional way if you know it's not serving you or the family well. But a lot of people, they know, but I need the money. I hear that a lot. I can't just leave, I've got bills, which is fine. But if you're not going to speak to your boss about the issues that you're having and you're going to have a conversation together, then you need to put some things in place that allow you to feel like you can leave when you're ready, like put in your notice and go. But that is last resort. Always try to work on things because it's like being a nanny is part of the family, isn't it? So, well, some are quite corporal, you know, informal. Some are very formal. So it just depends. Like, it's like when you fall out with your family member and then 2 weeks later you're best friends again. It's kind of similar like that. But it definitely, you need the conversation. Oh, my sister said, nice to meet you through live chat, Mindful Nanny Collective.
So nice to meet you.
You missed the good bits. Go back and watch part 1. She's my inspiration, my sister, my bestie, seriously. Oh, thank you, sis. She's older than me as well. Like, she's the second oldest and I'm the 5th. I'm like the youngest girl. So people pleasing works at the time of pleasing, then it backfires at some point. Very true, Kalisha. And it makes people think they can set the boundary and the tone. Nanny Kim on the Go says, I think people are so afraid of doing that because of pleasing people. 2 miserable people make 2 miserable people, period.
True.
Yeah. Yes, girl, I have a friend who's going through this right now. Sarah, tell us more. If you don't mind, like not just spreading out your friend's business. But let us know so we can see if we can help your friend out. You could send it to your friend to you know, understand. Hi, the freelance provider. I go onto your Insta page and I want to sleep on it. It's so therapeutic. Wow. That's for you.
Awesome, thank you. That's good. That's what I'm hoping for. I gotta resonate that. It's a little, it's funny.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I think I tutored this too, like finding your nanny community. I talked about this a little bit in part 1, but finding your nanny community is so important because you have a untrusted nanny community. I gotta say that. You gotta build trust with people, right? And like you gotta make sure that they're safe people to talk to. And finding your nanny community to kind of sort through some of these things, these tougher conversations before you go to your boss can be really helpful because there's a collective of experience here between these nannies that, you know, this is a really unique position. We work in domestic homes. People are really vulnerable and authentically themselves. And in that comes a little bit of toxicity, a little bit of unwinding, a little bit of everybody's learning in that environment. So if we're gentle and understand that, one thing I don't tolerate if it slides into my DMs, I won't respond to it, is if somebody comes into my DM and they're bashing a parent. There's a better approach to it. There's a better way to mindfully go through it. And there's a better, where's your empathy? Where's your recognition of that beginner mindset that we talked about in part 1? Be gentle, be soft, just as we would with children. And here's the thing. if you're reflecting to the world that this is the way that you think, this is how you treat yourself. It's a pure reflection of how you treat yourself. If you're going around and kind of like, you know, so you gotta be kind, you gotta be gentle. And I understand frustration and madness can be your first draft, and that's okay. But you gotta come back to it and be like, okay, my second draft, thanks so much for letting me like vent. And my third draft, this is how I'm gonna approach it, and this is how I'm gonna make the plan to change it. Otherwise, you're just somebody who's admiring the problem over and over and over again without any cojones, basically, as I say, to change it. And here's the other thing is like when you have somebody else listen to you, what happens in the brain is that you're able to get into a problem solving space so much faster because you had somebody that was holding the space for you so that you could hear what was kind of going on, because we are verbally processing out loud. So I suggest if you don't have a nanny community, know that you've got the Sunday Nanny virtual chats. It's a really confidential space. We go over digital well-being rules before we begin so that everybody's on the same page of what's let the
people know quickly how they can do that, because we said it in part one, but they might not have been in part one. So how can they join the virtual nanny social on the Sunday?
So go ahead and reach out to me on Instagram. Follow me on the Mindful Nanny Collective and the Mindful Care Collective. And if you want to, you can go on my link in my bio. You're going to see posts every other Sunday for it, and you can turn on the post notifications for it. If you turn on the post, go to one of my pictures, click on the little 3 squares there. You can turn on the post notifications there, and then you'll see when I get a post out that I'm going to have one, because right, we all have busy lives. Also, link in the bio, go to my website, subscribe for my newsletter, and then automatically you'll be added to the newsletter. And then and I only send it out like twice a month. Newsletters are really overwhelming for me, so you're not going to be spammed a bunch, but it's basically letting you know how you can join. And there's also a link on the Nanny Social Hour. If you look at my link in my bio, look for Nanny Social Hour, and right there it'll link you directly to the call itself. Yeah, so just wanted to, that's out there.
Perfect. We've got a comment for you.
Yeah.
Sarah said her dad boss is very difficult. My God, I'm so bad at typing tonight. I've said she should approach them and discuss how his behavior is making her feel. She's coming around to the idea, but you're so right. Having a great community of support is a great start. Yes, it is, Sarah. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, Nanny Shards is an amazing, you know, not to volunteer you, but I know that you're this kind of person. Like you would be able to hold the space for somebody in a really confidential space and a really safe space. And I know a bunch of other nannies too.
I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind her messaging me and giving a bit of advice or, you know, talking to her. I really don't mind. I'm all for supporting nannies, guys, literally, because I feel like I'm making up for lost time, because I've been obviously working with children since I was 13. I'm now in my 30s. So for me, it's like I am big on being the person that I wanted to see, if that makes sense.
Yes,
so being the change that you want to see. That's why I'm so passionate about what I do, and I think that's why people pick up on my I can't even say the word.
Authenticity.
Authenticity. Me being authentic, because they see that it's genuinely, like, you know, I'm being very genuine about it, because I'm like, okay, I always try to think outside of me. So I'm like, if I was a nanny in this situation, what would I want to see? And that's what I think. So if I was a nanny that didn't know me, first of all, I think I'm really dope.
Yeah, you are.
I'm like, so that was the first thing I would think. I think I'm quite funny too, I've been told. But I would honestly be like, I'm reaching out to Nanny Shaw's. Like, she's got gems. I'm going to talk to her. Like, I would be like that. But I know not everyone's that confident to do so. But I don't bite. I answer all my DMs. I answer every single comment. I'm very approachable. So any nannies that need help or support, hello, you got me here. And especially here in the UK, we don't tend to speak up as much. So yeah, you got no excuse now, because me out here, I'm here for you to see. So
yes, I love that. Proud nanny. Me too. Whatever you guys need, obviously. Yeah.
Perfect. And then also, just to wrap up, I wanted to ask you, which I've been asking all the nannies this week, what do you want to be recognized for?
Recognized for? Ooh, that's a really good question. As a nanny or in life?
just in life, as mostly as a nanny, because it's National Nanny Recognition Week. But when I've asked other nannies that question, they've said what they want to be recognized as a nanny, and they've also said person, like as a person as well. So feel free to do both.
Yeah, I think just being really authentic and really, really working to do my best to help kids to recognize themselves. And I want to be recognized for doing my own work so that I can hold that space in a really authentic way. Integrity is a pretty big deal to me. And a part of that is modeling that behavior to children and holding that space for families. And that's where I see this really beautiful growth, allowing them to fully be themselves because I'm doing the work to fully be myself.
Perfect. I love that. I'm just do like a mic drop. Where did I do last time?
So funny.
I can't find my phone. There it is. Look, there it goes. Awesome. Great. Mic drop. Yes.
I love that so much.
I love that. Yes, I love that. That was so perfectly put in a nutshell, like literally. What would you like to be recognized as a person?
Oh, okay. So since age 5, I was laying in my bed and I'm always a deep thinker, and I knew I had to change my family's legacy. I knew I didn't like what was going on. And so as long as on my deathbed, I know that I did everything in my power to change my family's legacy. That's what I want to be recognized for.
Do you guys see why I love her so much? It's just the best. Just like every single nanny I've spoken to this week, I generally love to pieces. Have like a full-blown respect for, and I just knew that you're always going to add. All of you were going to add value. All of you, every single one of you, and you've all delivered. So I'm so grateful. Say that again.
I said every nanny is so amazing. I mean, it's such a unique heart that wants to spend time with children and care for them and do their work.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Dads.
I'm going to go to the comments because I want you guys to give me some purple love hearts. If you think this live was useful, I didn't get a chance to say it on the other one because we got cut off, but thank you. I'm going to go through the comments and then we are going to see if this was useful. We'll see if we get some purple love hearts. Yeah. So the people going to say, you're so dope. Thank you. Shada Lambert, my sister, says, I've learned so much listening to you. Thank you very much. And that's what it was all about, wasn't it, Lexi? Making sure that people learn from what we're talking about. Kalisha said, as a mum, I've always learned something from your lives and other nannies' lives. Amazing. This is what I love. And I appreciate you, Kalisha, because I know you're busy, you work hard, you're an amazing mother, and you still find time to make a lot of my lives. And the fact that you interact, and as a parent, you add your perspective. If anyone knows any parents that will benefit from these lives, please forward it to them and make sure they join the. I've got a few more lives tomorrow, and I've got 2 on Saturday, and then I won't be doing lives for a very long time. So, guys, please.
We're so
Thank you. Make sure you know. I think the experience of being in one of these lives is very different to watching it back on a replay. So if you can, try and find the live while it's going on, because we can interact. You have any questions, we can, help. And we're all for supporting parents and also supporting nannies and supporting people that are not nannies or parents,
Yes.
Because like you said, some people don't have kids and they watch the lives and they learn so much. So that's another thing. Shalisha says she should be reckoned for great empowerment and her authentic and unique karma aura. Oh, that was for you. That is amazing. She's the bomb. You're the bomb, girl. You're the bomb.
Yeah, we both are. All of us in here.
Hi, Nanny Tess. Oh, look, we got all the purple love hearts. This was the best chat. Thank you. Thank you, Nanny Miss Monique. We love you. Let's see. Nanny Miss Monique is soon, guys. She's coming too. Kalisha said she's so real. Kalisha said, I have loved this week live. The nannies in the lives are all amazing and unique. Amen. Hey, y'all. I have learned something from everyone. Amazing. Jumped in for a minute. Hi, Nanny Taz. Thank you for joining us. I'm sorry, I just joined bonding school. That's fine. You can watch it back on the replay. That's absolutely fine. Nanny J. Shotwell said, I'm sliding in your DM, so be on the lookout. I love her. Oh my goodness. I just want to squeeze her. Kalisha said, thanks so much. My daughter loves watching them with me. Makes it all the easier. Thank you. Hi, what's your daughter's name? Let us know so we can shout her out.
Hello.
And Nanny Kim on the go said, love the live. Sorry I didn't get to join, but we shall do one. Today was Fantastic. Love you both. Yes. Listen, Nanny
Yes.
come and go. She's too busy for me. She's too busy. But I tried to like get. She was one of the ones I
She's
wanted
doing
to
a lot.
recognize, and she couldn't do it because of her schedule. But we are gonna plan something. Don't worry, because that's my
Yes.
nanny sister. I love her to
Yes.
bits. She's stuck with me. We're on the phone all the time for like 2 hours. You know, us
I
two.
love her.
Don't get off the phone. But happy National Nanny Recognition Week, ladies. She's called Ayana. Oh, beautiful name. Hi,
Thank
Ayana.
you. Hi,
Hi. Thank you for watching.
yes.
You're going to learn so much about nannies, which is amazing. Maybe you might be one
I
older.
know. Woohoo! We're gonna lay down
Oh
a better
man, thank
foundation
you
for you.
so much, man. I love you guys. Alexa, you know it's all love. You're
Yes,
stuck with me too.
I know.
So,
Vice versa,
you know,
sister. And remember Sabrina Washington, go follow her. She
yes,
has these cute t-shirts. I've got my
I
nanny
teach
hat
tiny
somewhere. She
humans.
has too. And then also, if you want your
This week,
Clearly Nanny pin, you can get 10% off. Go link in my bio. But the code is go to Clearly Nanny. Follow them, support her. She is amazing. But the 10% off is Mindful Nanny in the code. So go get your pin so we can all represent, especially
yes.
for our Black-owned women business
I
owners.
should have done that. I ordered
These
mine and didn't get no
pictures.
percentage off.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not matter. Full price. I'm
Yeah.
supporting the nanny business. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So tell us again quickly while we're ending this. For the mindful nanny, all the announcements, how people can get in touch with you, what you got going on, any discounts. Go.
Yes.
It's all yours.
Okay. So there's still time to do the Nanny Recognition Challenge this week. You can earn credit towards your own virtual self-care. There's still time to do it. If you want to go back through all the posts and go do it and just catch up, you can do it. You can earn up to $100 worth of credit. This week, all of Nanny Recognition Week was all about embodying the mindful nanny role. I wanted to give back and do something self-care. You just have to repost the post that I did. So you're saying, I did this, I was a mindful nanny here, and then post a picture of you doing it. You can earn an additional $5 in credit if you post yourself actually doing the activity with your kids or with your family. And it's all about recognizing what mindfulness is, embodying it itself. I've got the Mindful Nanny training. Registration is closed for that right now. It's starting this Saturday. Very excited for all those nannies that are doing it, but I'm going to reopen again in February. It's 9 weeks live, 100 hours versus of taking care of yourself, really just live sessions with your other community, with your other nannies, really the only people who get it right. And then also the free nanny virtual chats, we've got those. And of course, I self-care nannies and I give preferred pricing for nannies. It's a special pricing for you guys to embody your care. I also do 6 virtual nanny self-care workshops. They're about 3 hours long each session. And we really embody that self-care role. You take the time out for yourself. And I do nanny coaching as well. So if you need anything, and it's only $35, I don't charge per minute because I know it's a lot for us, but it's $35 for 60 minutes. And I also incorporate a little mindfulness, a little yoga. Go follow the Mindful Nanny Collective. And also the Mindful Care Collective. I've got other mindful dating and mindful femininity, mindful periods, all sorts of things in the works coming at you, and mindful parenting and mindful employers of nannies. So there's a lot there, but I'm here for you. I've got a huge support system. So if I don't have the answers for you, all the other nannies I know, it's a collective of over 200 years of experience between all of us nannies. That's pretty huge. Come find your people, come find your group, come find your tribe. So love you guys all so much. Happy Nanny Recognition Week. Shars, you're amazing. Thank you for everything that you do in the community for us. Thank you for building this bridge between the US and the UK. It's needed. We all have to learn from each other in this industry. So thank you for being the beautiful light that you are. You're amazing. Thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate you. I'm truly honored.
Thank you.
Truly honored. Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate you for allowing me to honor you. And I had an amazing time talking to you. And honestly, if it weren't public, I'll be talking to you for hours. But I know that you're very busy. You've got things to do.
You too.
I'm going to just go for the last bit of the comments because you've got loads of lovely comments. She said she's buzzing. Oh, bless. Stay amazing, mindful nanny. Stay awesome, ladies. Girl, you got it all on. Woot, woot. Thanks for the live. It's bedtime in this house. Good night, everyone. We love you so much. I'm going to talk to you in the DMs quickly, but take care, everyone else.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining.
Bye.